and we'll sit and talk about shit, everyday bullshit.
I'm Joe Parsons with the Virginia Cannabis Connection, and this is the Virginia Cannabis Report on Cannabis Coast to Coast News. I've got something a little special for you all this week, as this is the premiere episode of the all-new Cannabis Coast to Coast News. Our name might have changed from We Talk News, but our message in bringing the latest in cannabis news and stories from the ones who make a difference has not. A few months ago, I was invited to the beautiful city of Charlottesville to appear on the legendary radio station 97.5 3WV's cannabis-friendly podcast, Coughy Talk. They let me talk about pro-cannabis media, and I have to say, we've grown a little bit since then, so I'd like to think that they helped. So I couldn't think of a better way to kick off the all-new show than by telling everyone from coast to coast about Coughy Talk. I'm talking with the creators of Coughy Talk, Don, Seth, and the host, the one and only Ashley D. from 3WV. So thanks for being with me on the couch today. And the first thing, Don, how did Coughy Talk go from a concept to the show it is now?
Well, I think that, it's been 4 years now, and 4 years we've been advertising with 3WV for years and years and years. And at some point we realized that legalization was pending. People were talking about, things were changing, and there were so many questions people have. And you can come to higher education. Of course, we're known for answering questions, but then we realized not everyone can come to the store and spend an hour with us and ask all the questions. So maybe we can find a way to encourage people to, on their own free time in the evening when we're not open, be able to get these answers. And we, thought, podcast would be the answer. And we had been advertising with Ashley at 3WV for, oh my gosh, 6 years already by then. And we talked with them, and basically they were like, yeah, this seems like a good fit for both of us. So, hence it was born.
Outstanding. Now, Seth, besides being a fun show, people can learn a lot and get real information from this broadcast. Do you think that this show helps change some of the negative views that people have about cannabis?
Well, I sure hope so. We've done a lot to try and provide factual, high quality, educated information. We've brought a lot of guests on the show, a lot of activists and cannabis, experts, people in the field, a lot of people who are business owners and legal minds and advocates, and just really well-informed people, and give them the opportunity to speak their minds, present their ideas, and share as much information as they can. So I sure hope that we've made a big difference.
Well, I don't know about everyone else, but you have definitely made a difference for us. Now, Ashley, as I told you the last time that I visited, I spent most of my adult life in Maine, but I did grow up in a little town called Buckingham, a little bit close to where you are. So growing up, I can remember that Central Virginia was pretty conservative. Was it difficult to get the legendary radio station that's been rocking the Commonwealth for over 35 years to agree to do this show in Central Virginia?
No, actually, part of the concept came from one of our morning hosts who's been on the station since I was listening. Again, I grew up in Buckingham, so I listened to 3WV. It covers, 20 plus counties. And so he, kind of launched it with Dawn and Seth initially, and I was pulled into it. I don't think that the station itself had a lot of hurdles, but the FCC and the federal government has been kind of where the limitations were, and that's where the podcast kind of came from. Just because we can only put but so much out there because of our federal government regulating the station, not us personally in our views necessarily. So yeah, it was an easy sell for the 3WV staff. They embrace it. We put it on our website, we put it on our social media. Yeah, and we loved having Dawn and Seth, advertise on the station again. With the FCC kind of regulating things, we have had just hurdles that we've overcome, right? Like
Yeah.
we've found a lot of ways to make it work. And yeah, if it wasn't for the FCC, I think we could do a lot more
Sure you could.
with the show. And
All right, so I'm sure that you've all had a lot of fun and some great memories of your past shows. So Don, what was your favorite guest or episode of Coughy Talk?
Oh my goodness. I think some of my favorite episodes are us playing games. We have played so many cannabis related games and it's been great, but my favorite guest is definitely the Pots lady. No, I lied. I know who it is. My favorite is Linda Biggs. Her story was amazing. I don't know. I mean, she was so well spoken. And Linda Biggs is an artist from Maryland who I believe had a car accident. And she was in chronic pain. She was no longer allowed to do her artwork. Physically was incapable of doing it. And someone came to her and said, well, have you tried cannabis? And this is someone who was completely outside of the cannabis world, was like, I don't know, maybe. I mean, it can't hurt me at this point. And she started using cannabis, and lo and behold, she got her, she got her groove back, and now she's a functioning artist again. And actually now she makes water pipes. Her artwork is on water pipes and rigs across the country. And it would have been lost to all of us if she hadn't found marijuana. I mean, it's kind of amazing. Her story was great. She's fun to talk to, and she was so humble, such a sweet lady. And honestly, it was really neat because she, at some point, I in the interview, I think I said, I'll be honest with you, I smoke weed to get high. And she said, well, I'll have to try that sometime. And it was interesting, to hear, it was the first time I think I might have truly taken it as the medicine it is for so many people.
Fantastic. Seth, what about you? Your
I
favorite
was
guest
thinking
moment,
about it actually
memory?
while Don was talking, and I have two that stick out actually. One of them is a local guy, Scott McStacy, and his story is actually surprisingly similar. He had a very large tumor that had to be removed, and his doctor, sort of like discreetly and on the side, brought him some cannabis and said, when you get home, start consuming this because this is the only thing that's going to help you survive. There was so much inflammation that and he didn't really know, and it saved his life. And he's been on our show several times. He's a great guy. He's become a friend of ours.
He's been on my
And-
show too, twice now. I love him.
Yeah.
Fantastic guy.
Yeah. And then the other one actually that stuck out as I was thinking about it was Jason Harris, who is the owner creator of Jerome Baker Designs. It's a water pipe company. And I just remember thinking it was such a good interview. He was such an entertaining guest. He was funny, he was interesting, he had really good stories to tell, and he's been in the industry for forever. So it was just really an enjoyable podcast.
Awesome.
I
And
forgot.
lastly, Ashley, do you have any favorite guests, memorable moments?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like Seth and Dawn. I like those personal stories where it's really helped people. So yeah, Scott, Linda, what was the nurse that we had in as well? I'm not great with names, but
Patients at a time.
yeah, so we had a nurse come in and she had a lot of relevant things to put forth. We've had Lennis in here too, and she's done a lot, with government and such. But honestly, I think I like just being in the radio industry. I like our music. We bring in like musical entertainment sometimes too. So we've had like the South River Strings and some other just
Cheap whiskey.
Yeah, cheap whiskey. I like those guys too.
Charged up valve.
But that it just kind of takes it to another level. So it shows the dynamic. Like we're here for providing information, being, just I guess facts and we present our opinions a lot, and we're not shy about saying, hey, this is what this says, but this is how we feel about it. And that's, it needs to be a conversation in society. People need to talk about it. It can't be so black and white. And so I like just having all these different dynamics and bringing in different people from walks of life. So.
Well, fantastic. So I guess I definitely have my work cut out for me because I noticed that my name wasn't on any of those lists. However, there has been a lot going on lately in the news. So if you guys decide one day to put me back on your show, the news will rock. And I promise I'll be more memorable next time.
You're on. We'll have you on next month.
Thanks, folks. And I just wanted to say thank you for being a part of our very first show. And that's
Thank you
going to
for
do it
having
for
us.
this week from the Virginia Cannabis Connection and reporting from Cannabis Coast to Coast News. I'm Joe Parsons. Until next time, everyone, stay lifted.